Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 369 of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's in a not completed game with me tonight?
My name is Casey.
My name is Robert.
Welcome back, both of you. I think, if I remember correctly, you both were on when we did Lego Lord of the Rings a while ago, and I remember having so much fun with that, and I was like, man, I can't wait to play the other game. So we are here to talk about Lego The Hobbit, developed by Traveller Tales, published by Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment, and came out in 2014 in April. That's important. That will help us later in the story. So, history. Never played this game before. Always been curious. I know I bought it at some point for the 360. Be like, I'm going to get to this one day. And then I got it in a Humble Bundle, or somehow I have it on Steam, and I was really excited to play it. So, that's my history. What about you, Casey?
I have no real history with this game. I've had Lego Lord of the Rings for a long time and liked that game a lot. And then I never really picked up Lego The Hobbit. And I ended up, I had it in a couple spots. Like, I think I might have had it on Steam through some bundle thing. But I played this through Series X, like backwards compatible.
Oh, no.
And this was my first time actually trying the game.
Wow.
And I've always been a big Lego game fan ever since the Star Wars. So playing like the Lord of the Rings, I might have played this originally in the Vita, where I can remember. And this playthrough, I went on PS4. I must have bought a copy of it because I had one in my library. So play that one, and it's pretty good. It's got it's a little bit like the Lord of the Rings, where you can find different weapons scattered around the levels, use like mithril bows and stuff like that, which is good.
They try. I'll give them that.
Yeah. So
They
I
tried
think kind of-
something.
Yeah, I think kind of the story for this game, and it's similar to kind of how I feel like people felt with the Hobbit movies too, is it's like Lord of the Rings, it's just kind of worse, like across the board. It's structured kind of like Lord of the Lego Lord of the Rings. We have your open world-ish kind of Middle-earth stuff, and then you go into the more linear levels, lots of like collectibles, tons of characters and tools and stuff you can get to solve different puzzles, to get different items and stuff like that. I just didn't think anything in this game flowed as nicely as Lego Lord of the Rings. Like, I didn't even realize it was actually like a real and open world thing until almost the game, because it's very linear, kind of hallway, level to level. Like, when it breaks you between levels, and you walk like 4 steps and then you're into the next level, and anytime it's longer, it's just a straight kind of pathway to the next thing with no real incentive or even interesting thing to go break off into. I think Lord of the Rings did a way better job of giving you some like towns and fields where you're like, oh, I can kind of break out here and do something else for a little while and find cool stuff. And this never really hit that way for me.
Not at all. It, like, look, the Lord of the Rings one is so cool, and it does have that little open worldness, and like, you have that desire to come back as you play through, and that's an epic story. Hobbit is not a bad story, but somehow this game takes the Hobbit story, shits on it, and poops it out to you, and you're like, here you go, and I'm like, this is just missing stuff. Besides the end, but maybe it's just the movies in general. I don't remember the Hobbit movies at all. I remember I've seen them once, I remember I liked them, and then I moved on. That's it. That's all I know about them.
Yeah, despite being a big Lord of the Rings fan, I've actually only seen the first Hobbit movie. I watched it. I thought it was fine. It's definitely not as good as like Lord of the Rings, but it's The Hobbit. It's more family movie, kind of younger audience skewed. I think it's fine for that kind of thing. But there was kind of general bad word of mouth towards the second and third movies, and I'm not someone who I don't watch a lot of movies, especially very long ones. And so without much incentive to watch them, I just never made it to movie 2 and 3.
I mean, you should. I feel like just because you watch them, I mean,
they're definitely on like my list, and I like the movie stuff like that you can tell is from the movie in this game. I like the voice lines and stuff, because just like Lego Lord of the Rings, they take voice lines directly from the film. You know, I think this version of Bilbo, the movie version, who's I think it's a really good Bilbo. I like all that stuff. I'll watch them. And I think this kind of did actually give me motivation to like at least see those movies through, because I kind of like the cutscenes and what they're doing, with that stuff for the most part.
I mean, there's good stuff in here, but it just felt one, this game comes out in 2014, and the reason I said April is because the last Hobbit movie comes out in 2014. What the fuck is that date? I thought it was in this thing. December of 2014. So, one, I mean, Lego is known when they made these games releasing, covering a trilogy of movies, or at least a series of movies, depending on your game. Like, this is. And the fact, I did not know until I think it was some point you guys had made a comment to me. You're like, this is only the first two games or the first two movies. And I guess I was getting into the faster than I had planned to. And when I found that out, I was like, okay, I'm sure it will still work. Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, I knew it was only the first two movies. And I had heard all the stories that this game fell apart. They were supposed to add the third movie as DLC. That got canned, all that kind of stuff. And going in, I was still thinking, like, I know the book The Hobbit pretty well. I know that story. And I was like, sure, the Battle of Five Armies won't be in there, but the Smaug stuff is a totally fine place to end.
Yes.
And it doesn't even do that right. You told me the ending was bad, and I was stunned. I went in, like, prepared for a bad ending, and it was so much worse than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It's incomplete.
Yeah, it feels like not just a whole movie. It feels like the last mission of movie 2 or something would be missing. It should be like at least one more mission in this game to at least like cap off the stuff with the river town.
Should have been killed. At least Smaug should have been taken out. Not, he flew away to the city. Oh, well, that's the end of the game. Who cares about what happened to those people? He ain't coming back. Like,
exactly. Like, you could have at least ended with like the arrow to his weak spot thing that, is Smaug's
because they showed it too. That's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, there's all the build up with like
yeah.
the arrow launcher, and they talk about his opening weak spot and his scales.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that totally makes sense. It won't be the complete story. Like, obviously, it's missing stuff, but we'll end with fighting Smaug. And you do, but only in this weird half-boss fight that just ends 20 seconds later. And, yeah,
and
they just cap it off with nothing.
It bothered me, because if they would have just killed Smaug, that could have been enough, and I can be like, okay, like, there's enough here. Like, the fucking animated Hobbit movie from, like, 78 or whatever that is a better adaptation of the story than this fucking game is.
Absolutely.
That's not a compliment to the game.
And so I will give the game some praises. It goes into stuff I like. I was kind of excited that there was a whole chapter with Bjorn and like I forget what they call them, like the skin changers or whatever. Because when I read The Hobbit for the first time, I had known, like, I had seen that animated movie you mentioned. I watched that obsessively as a kid. And
it's not terrible.
I played the old Hobbit PS2 game, all that stuff. So I thought I knew The Hobbit. And then when I finally actually read the full book later on, I was like, I have this whole extra character who can, like, turn into bears. And it's like, I had no idea about that character because he's often cut from adaptations. And so I had no idea about that guy. And so when I got to that section, I was psyched about that. And it has some of that cool stuff. Like, similar to Lego Lord of the Rings, having, like, Tom Bombadil as a character you can go buy and stuff like that. They have fun references. I still think a lot of the game is charming in a way that a lot of the Lego games are. It's got a good sense of humor and stuff. It just really is that it's very clearly cutting corners and then very unfinished.
Yeah. Well, one thing that really annoyed me was that collecting items to build was a little annoying.
Oh yeah, because you still get like the mithril bricks and stuff.
Yeah,
we had to like carrots, chickens, and a whole bunch like eggs.
Oh,
that was
stuff to build.
annoying.
Yeah, dude, I'm not a huge fan. I mentioned this in the Lego Lord of the Rings episode, but I'm not a huge fan of actually playing Lego games so much as I like what they do, comedy wise, and how much love they have for the stuff they're adapting. All that's really cool, but the general gameplay is not my favorite. Like, the kind of whatever combat and the puzzles are fine, but none of it ever gets me super excited. And the thing with this one is I feel like the gameplay is actually at like the worst of a Lego game I've played, because I really don't care about this crafting system they bring in.
It's
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think dealing with all the different dwarves, and at least when I was getting started, was just more annoying than anything. Where it's like, okay, which one can do
you have to make sure you have the staff.
Yeah.
It's not like unique enough. Like, these are not, they all look the same. Like, oh, this dwarf has an axe. Oh, this dwarf has a bow. And I'm like, make them stand out more.
Yeah, and then you only ever use, like, a few of them, like, one time. And just trying to cycle through, like, okay, which one do I need for this? And just walking up to, like, a glowing spot on the floor, like, okay, you can't do anything. And this guy, just cycling through everything, just trying to figure like, what will let you hit B so you can start something.
Yeah. And it shouldn't be like that. It feels bad.
Yeah, it misses, like, partially I think too the dwarves are just a less memorable group than like the Fellowship
100%.
is. Like, their names are fun to say, especially in the way they always do in the book where they're fun to say, but they're not like characters. There's too many of them. Is a short book. It's not like anyone's like deeply invested in like the Wallens' personal life. The Fellowship just makes so much more sense when you see like, oh, I need to jump up high. Obviously, I got to go get Legolas. I need something to smash. I'm going to get Gimli. All that stuff, there's way more iconic characters that make more sense switching around a bunch of different dwarves who are just holding different items.
To me, that felt really out of place, where it was so much of just based on them having unique weapons. It didn't really work for me. Like, it just felt stupid.
Yeah,
definitely. And getting hung up on those puzzles because you don't remember who has what item is just more boring. It doesn't really feel like I'm solving a puzzle, more I'm just dealing with switching characters a bunch.
I mean, and I didn't I was pretty sure that the crafting thing was something unique, like their new system in quotations for this game.
Yeah, I think it's the only one I've played with that system in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was probably like the thing for...
Yeah, I think that was sort of like one of this game's big new ideas. And like, it kind of makes sense when you're watching like the stuff get built and you see all the Lego pieces connect together. Like, it's a Lego game, building stuff. It makes sense. I don't know. Smashing rocks to carry around like hundreds of rocks in my crafting inventory and going to a crafting table is just not something I really enjoy that much anyways, and I don't need it in Lego.
It just felt stupid to me in this. And I had so many items, I didn't even know what to do with some of the stuff. And I'm like, what is the point? I have 100 chickens, okay. But I wasn't interacting with the side stuff either, so I'm assuming that's where it goes.
Yeah, I completely blew through most of the side stuff. I think there is some things. I met like one lady where you could trade items. So you could sell like 35 chicken legs for steel or something like that. I assume harder to find materials. It just...
And then when you beat the game, behind you is like a little vending machine where you can buy all the materials that you want. That's in the mountain.
Oh yeah, I did find that too. And you can buy like increasingly more expensive like gems. I just never found... Yeah. I was not going to dig deep enough to find what to do with gems.
I mean, that kind of bothered me because I got some, but it's like I didn't get enough, and I'm like, I see what you did here. You want me to play this level over, and I'm just like, yeah, that's not happening. I mean, that's partly... Sometimes I feel bad. We did Lego Lord of the Rings. I felt bad that I didn't do that. In this game, I felt no upsetness over it. I had zero interest. This game just did not pull me in at all. It just felt boring. And I mean, Lego games, like, I know what I'm getting myself into. I know what to expect from a Lego game, and I don't mind. Like, I was here for that, and this one doesn't even capture the joy of Lego to me. And is that because the source material is a little bit underwhelming?
I think that's definitely part of it. Like we said, the Hobbit movies are just not as good as Lord of the Rings, and so there's like less there. But I also think it's structural too. Like we were saying, like the world doesn't feel as like... I didn't want to break out into its open world much. I tried to at one point so I could go buy Radagast and put him in my like character inventory. And then like getting to his marker on the map was just annoying. And when I got there, he wasn't there anyways. I don't know if it was because it was at the part where he was in the party. Like, cause I went there during like the mission where you play as him and Gandalf. And so I don't know if that's why I couldn't buy him then or what, but I was just like, I don't care enough. I'm not going to come back again after I beat the game to buy this wizard. I'll just move on. I just think like I was going to say, like, we were talking, like, you still get those, like, mithril bricks or whatever, the silver ones after missions. And Lego Lord of the Rings pretty early on tells you where you can go to, like, the blacksmith and you can forge tools that help you complete side quests and get extra stuff in missions. And it kind of tells you that pretty early on, and that made sense. I didn't find that, I don't think, in this one. I don't know if I just, like, completely... like was so just one mission after the other where I didn't even bother like finding that, but I don't think the game does as good a job at kind of pulling you around to different stuff to even like really make you curious. Like, unless you're just going in there intentionally, like, I'm going to 100% this game. I don't think the game does anything to, like, make you want to do that.
Like the map for was kind of not easy to navigate through. Like when you go to zoom out, everything disappears. So when you go to zoom in, all the characters, everything come back on. And, like it was so hard just to figure out where you want to go and how to get there without like going through the actual map.
Which is weird to me that like they failed on something so basic.
Yeah.
Especially because, again, Lego Lord of the Rings did it better already.
Yeah.
Like
That
map felt more like Middle Earth than this one and all that stuff. Easier to get around in.
That's the part that really kind of blows my mind, is like you have a template that worked in a good game, and yet they couldn't get it in here. And that kind of surprised me. Like, it shouldn't have been that hard to transfer over the stuff that worked in Lord of the Rings and put it here. But it did. They couldn't do it for some reason. And that kind of blew my mind a little. It's like, it shouldn't be difficult.
Definitely. I feel like if this had been, like, as good as Lego Lord of the Rings, but it was only the first 2 movies, this would still be a pretty cool game. I think it's just the fact that, like, anything it tried that was different, I thought was worse. And then I think it just didn't do basic level things as good as the older game.
And did the levels feel longer to either of you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely some of them.
Just me.
Some of them I feel like have like 2 or 3 parts where you get those like save and continue things, which I thought usually were like halfway marks before.
Yeah, they were.
Which, well, they still had that too. Like when you go back for free play, you're able to pick like the different sections of the level, which was nice if you're like collecting the mini bricks and stuff, the mini kits and stuff like that. You can see what you're missing and trying to push that level instead of going through like a whole stretch. I think Lord of the Rings was a whole stretch. You didn't have like
that is a nice change.
Yeah,
it was just too much parts that just seemed, I don't know, the game just felt off, and the game also seemed very too. Like, I beat it less than a week ago, and I really don't remember much about it. It just wasn't a great experience. And I think that ending, unfortunately, go back to that, did upset me more than it should have, because it's just this, like, I knew part of this, like, they build up all the story with Egzog, that stupid orc, Smaug, like, and none of those things get complete till the 3rd movie. And so, like, it pisses me off that somebody at Warner Bros. Like, we can't afford to finish this game, like, even though, they probably were already working on the DLC, but they just couldn't spend whatever money to spend to finish the job. And that pisses me off. And I like this game less after I finished it. That bothers me.
Yeah.
It really is, too, in my opinion, just that last 10 seconds. If they just ended it because at the end of that last mission, the dwarves like coat Smaug in gold, and he gets frozen as a statue, and it fades out, and then it fades back up where he cracks out, and then he goes out into the town to start the ending, and then they're like, "Oh, we've done something really bad." I feel like they should have just not had that cutscene there at the very end. If they just let him like become a gold statue, and then you can at least be like, okay, for these 2 things, you have a little bit of a ending, and then like
you have closure.
Had the DLC come out, that's when he cracks out, and you can go into the real ending. Like, that'd be fine. But the fact that they just have that like stinger or a very unfinished and not that good game just makes it feel like extra kind of insulting. I feel like if I was a kid and I bought this and I was super excited, I would have just been really confused. Like, I would have been wandering everywhere. Like, where's the next mission? Like, this clearly has to have more in it. I feel like also we should throw out, just for comparison's sakes, the very first Lego Star Wars, which was like the first Lego game of this formula, as modern Lego was.
Yes.
Had Star Wars, all 3 prequels, and that came out before Revenge of the Sith came out, episode 3. So
it's right before it.
Yeah, and I remember people like, that's crazy. You can see the story of that movie in this kid's game before the movie's even out. So they're not the first to put out a Lego game in the lead up to a big, trilogy cap and whatever you want to call it, like movie. So it's not their first time. Yeah. It was the first game they did. And even that, I would say, was like a way better job than like what was done.
That's
here.
A great game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, what you this game worse? Thank you, Casey. They did it back then on PS2, and they couldn't do it now. Yeah, fuck them. It was Warner Brothers.
Well, they did it as their first game, like their first. That was the first big Lego game like this, and they did in the lead up to a big trilogy ending. final movie. They got all 3 movies in there. They didn't like have it end in some weird. Yeah, the fact that their first game did what this game couldn't do makes this feel worse.
Yeah, like, I mean, and again, it was greed. They were probably like, we can put the third game on here, and Warner Bros. Like, but we can get more money out of people.
Yeah,
and
I bet it was because I feel like this too was when they were putting out like 4 Lego games a year. They were probably like, why would we spend more money putting extra in here when we could just ship this out and get you guys on the next superhero game or whatever was coming out around the same time.
Yeah, I think it was like the lead up to like Dimensions or something was next.
It just hurts it so much when you have an incomplete story, because that's one thing that makes these games special, is that you have a complete story, usually. And it just affects it. Like, I want to say the first level of this game, I don't think it was even in the movie, if I remember, but I haven't seen the movie in years, because it shows like the dwarves before everything happens. Like when they're in their castle and then they get taken by Smaug, which I thought was really cool. Maybe it's in the movie. I haven't seen the movie in so long. I haven't. It is?
Yeah, sure, I do remember some of that stuff in the movie.
That makes me sadder now. I thought they made a whole new level that wasn't in the movie to bring more story to the game. Now I'm more upset. You see, I have no memory of this, really of this series. I saw it back in 2012 when it came out, and I own it on Blu-ray. I have the collection on Blu-ray for $5 at when Walmart used to have Black Friday, Blu-ray sales. Remember those days, people?
Definitely.
Yeah, it's sad.
Do too, actually. Okay, that makes that level less cool now. So I thought it was something special that they did for this game. But I mean, that was kind of nice. But like we were saying earlier, the dwarves just do not stand out. None of them have anything special. And one thing that makes Lego special is that you have these unique characters. When every character is pretty much the same, it just doesn't work as well. It's missing that sexiness. For lack of a better word.
It kind of reminds me of some of the issue they ran into when they started trying to do like Indiana Jones, where it's like, okay, you have Indy and like you have a couple sidekicks, and then like who are the rest of your characters? Like another soldier, another random, like these are just dudes with guns. Like they're not as like interesting as like Star Wars Jedi or the Fellowship. Like they run into that problem, I think, when they try and have this huge cast of characters, if it's just not a world with as cool characters.
But like in Lord of the Rings, in the other one, it works because you have your main characters, the Fellowship, and you have all your extra characters that you don't care about, but you have your main guys. And here, your main guys are all dwarves. It's not the same.
Definitely.
And this game felt longer and shorter, which I know is an oxymoron, somehow the Lord of the Rings game. Because like this game is a decent amount of levels, but it just, I don't know, it just felt so off play. Like, I mean, I got through it, but I don't know if I really had that good of a time. I was just trying to get through the game.
I had the same feeling. I think it's a lot more thorough than like Lego Lord of the Rings was, where like Lord of the Rings, you can kind of blast, like say through 2 towers. There's like a couple levels and then like Helm's Deep and then it ends. And you skip over big parts of that movie, where this feels like they're adapting like every chapter of the book at least into a full level. To where maybe not everything needed to be as long as it was. I mentioned the Bjorn thing and how psyched I was to see that weird character that I liked from that book. But I don't think you need a whole level of like scaring bees to get a key to open the door to hide from a bear. Like, not all of it was great. It's cool that they tried to be that thorough, I guess. But maybe if you had like a third as many levels in these 2 chapters, you could have a whole ending. Like,
but I mean, again, it's more of the fact that they had to fluff it up because it's only 2 movies, so they want the main game to be a certain length too. So that's part of it. Man, it's just because it's like just sit on this for 6 more months, put the 3rd movie in, and it would have been a complete package.
It still would have had problems for sure, like the crafting system, like the dwarves being kind of unmemorable. But at least it would have been like a complete story, satisfying companion piece to The Hobbit.
Yes, like I don't come to Lego games to have an eye. Like I come there to have a nice recap of usually a series of movies. That's what I come for, and I didn't get that, and I can't get past that fact. Like, it ruins everything about this game. Like, the crafting system is stupid. There were some fun levels that I think were new for Lego at the time, where you, like, run at the screen and you're running from things, like Smaug and stuff. I mean, there were cool parts to it, but I don't know.
Yeah, for me, like you said, I completely agree with you. Like, I don't look at Lego games as, like, amazing 10 out of 10 video games on their own, but they're a fun kind of like abridged, goofy way to look back at like some movies you love or something like that.
Yeah.
And I like that. And this is, with it just being kind of boring and incomplete, just kind of doesn't offer that. I'll still really enjoy parts of this game that represent stuff I love from the Hobbit story. I like, with the 3 trolls.
I did like that.
And fighting the goblins in their cave, like when it's the big chase sequence. I forget what like the name of the chapter was, but you're fighting like the goblin cave and everything, and with Gandalf and all them. Like that part's cool. I like all that stuff, and seeing it here was cool, and it hits what I like about Lego games. It's just the fact that so much of the actual gameplay was worse here, and that it just ends in a really disappointing way.
I forgot there's a part where you play as Frodo and Sam, right? A little part for some reason.
Oh yeah, like right at the beginning.
Yeah, I forgot about that completely. Like, to me, that was just unnecessary. Like, I don't know if that was in the movie. Do you remember, Rob?
I don't think so.
It feels unnecessary to have them go to Bilbo so he can tell them their story. And it's like, why is this even here? Like, I don't need more hobbits. I already got dwarves. I'm good. Like, I don't need them.
Well, I think it's supposed to represent, isn't like Frodo the one that wrote The Hobbit?
But didn't Bilbo write The Hobbit?
I think this is in the movie, like in the intro, where I think like it's a young Frodo, like asking Bilbo about his adventures, and I think it's supposed to like, oh, I have like let me read you my book kind of thing. I mean, I think that's in the movie, but
that could make
it's been a long time.
Since Hobbit is very much a sequel / prequel to Lord of the Rings, so it they try to find a way to make it fit. Like, I forgot how stupid it is that Legolas is in this game or in this movie series or in here at all.
Mm-hmm.
God, this still bothers me because if I remember correctly, he's not in the books.
No,
I mean he technically could be there. Like age-wise, everything works. He could have been there, but I just don't like it that he is.
Yeah, they're in his turf at one point, but Legolas himself is like not a character.
No, and it bothers, like, especially, well, I mean, again, this is nitpick, not what we're here for, but close enough. If I remember correctly, they try, he's older, because, it takes place years later, and you're supposed to be younger, and it's like, this doesn't work. And, I mean, you have the small scene that they make work in this game with Tauriel and one of the dwarves he's in love with, but again, nothing finishes. I think what really upset me, too, is that I don't even, I know the Necromancer stuff, I think, finished in this game, because it finished in the movies, too, but that was, the only thing that had a completion, was that you fight Sauron, sort of.
Yeah, that was cool to see. Again, I like that Sauron is the Necromancer in The Hobbit, because it was kind of before, I feel like, all that stuff was as fleshed out as he made it for Lord of the Rings. So seeing, that was cool, and I liked those scenes with Tauriel and one of the dwarves, who I can't remember which one. I thought that stuff was, again, I like the kind of sense of humor there. It was kind of cute. It was funny. It would be cool to see that pay off in, a third movie that didn't get put in here.
It just frustrates me so much, because you can't do that. That's what doesn't... It is such a bad companion piece now that it has no ending because of greed.
Yep.
And it just upsets me. And I can't get past it.
Feels like a very crunched, rushed product.
It does. I mean, the Lego formula is already there. They've been doing it for years. Nothing even felt unique in this game, really, or special. Like the stuff that you could do, there's only a wizard can hit. Oh, okay, that's nice. Nothing felt good. It just felt empty. And there were a couple parts where I died really easy, and I had a hard time killing goblins. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
I died a lot too in just random fights where I was just getting hit.
Yeah, and playing as the wizards weren't really fun. Their hitting, didn't really work.
No, yeah.
Gandalf has his sword, and you go try to swing the sword, and he's trying to freaking fire a freaking fireball, right out a rock that's right beside you. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, none of the combat stuff even really feels like it works. Not that it's great in the other Lego games or anything. These aren't fighting games or anything, but it's at least you could button mash through a fight. This just felt kind of straight up busted, where I'm just hitting the attack button, nothing's connecting, and I'm getting murdered.
And I shouldn't feel that way in a Lego game.
Yeah.
I know combat's usually not good in Lego games. It can be. Some have good combat.
At worst, it should probably be just kind of button mashy, goofy.
Yeah.
But this is just weirdly felt kind of busted at points.
There were a couple times where I got completely stuck. and had to watch a video. I mean, that does happen to me, Lego games, but it was something really stupid where there was a boat off screen that I didn't realize was part of the screen in one of the towns. You had to like run south. There was a boat to break. I'm like, wow, I should have like this. I don't know. I just felt so stupid. And then, I mean, when you're climbing on the stone giants for that one part, okay, that felt kind of epic. It made me think of God of War 3, actually.
Yeah.
Didn't
That
help
was
the game,
another.
but
Yeah,
it
that was
cool.
another good level. I remember like thinking that part was weird in the movie, but I think like it makes a good video game level. And yeah, the God of War 3 style like zoom outs were pretty cool.
Yeah. And then this one had one little secret level where you get like the million fucking studs or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, you play as the giants. You just go around smashing all of Middle Earth.
Oh, that's cool.
I didn't do any of that, but that's cool. That is there. I was just kind of done at that point. I have other games I had to play for this show, so I had to get caught up. But there were just so many things that felt incomplete in this game. Like the abilities, nothing was that special. Like you get a lot of equipment, I felt like, which is like, oh, pick up this axe, pick up this bow, pick this spear. Oh, the spear thing was another thing I thought was stupid as fuck. Where you have the guys stand together with spears and you climb up them. I didn't like that.
Straight up, I don't even think this entire time I realized it was spear guys. I never put that together. I just kept switching dwarves till it let me hit B, and then I would just run into each.
And then sometimes they wouldn't even climb up each other. Like the guys that had spears, they just wouldn't do it.
Because you can't jump out of it either half the time. You had to like walk into them. It was messed up animation.
Yeah. Again, just another thing. It felt like kind of just a little busted. Like trying to actually, because a couple of times like I'd get them like 2 rungs up, and then the guy's just hanging on to the dwarf. I'm like nudging the stick, like come on, go up, like finish the tower. And I'd have to just start wiggling the stick like crazy, and eventually they'd pop up. Just weird little things that just don't really feel like the game's working correctly.
Like the quick time didn't feel that good either. Like it felt broken. Like it was a while before it switched to another button and stuff like that. For like some of the
There's
big
a lot of quick time events.
Big orc.
Yeah, and I normally like quick time events. They were annoying here, but they were forgiving too. You could hit the wrong button and the game wouldn't punish you. You could just hit the right button and it'd be okay.
Yeah, at least it's not.
But sometimes it would just throw you back and then you have to do it again.
I had a little bit of trouble with the necromancer part where you have to get them to shoot the right block so then you can tap a button and break it. And then that one I had a little struggle with because there were a couple times where I'm trying to do it and a goblin is trying to beat the shit out of me and it messed things up.
Yeah.
That was annoying because the shield doesn't protect you from the goblin strikes, you from the blast. Also had one too from that blast where the blue thing like comes down and hits you and then the blue shield breaks it up. Yeah, my whole game just crashed. I played this on Steam Deck. And Steam Deck can run a 2014 game that's Legos, yes, without issue. It was just weird. Like, I had multiple crashes, actually. And if you don't save in the middle of the level, there are no checkpoints besides that little save, for the record. So, game does not autosave in the levels, no matter what it tells you.
Performance on Xbox was pretty good. It has like the FPS boost, which was nice. I could play this at 60 frames. So that was pleasant. Though audio was really bugged if you use the ring as Bilbo, where it starts cutting everything out in this really like kind of like wavy way. I think it was supposed to be like the wind effects for when the ring's on, but it didn't play those. It just started messing up all the other audio. So God, using the ring was unpleasant. It made the whole game sound just like a nightmare. Not in an intentional way. I know the ring is...
You played with sound. I had some sound, but it got to a point where I turned off sound. I was like, I don't want to hear any of this bullshit.
Usually I turn off the music. The music is repetitive, especially in the world, like in the open world.
So I have a question. In between levels, sometimes you have somebody like narrating. Wasn't that Saruman narrating a couple times?
I think it was the whole time.
What the fuck does Saruman have to do with this?
I thought it was like great value. Like they couldn't get Ian McKellen back in to narrate the stuff, so they just had like a guy do like a wizard voice.
It sounded like Saruman.
Like Christopher Lee.
Yeah, it sounded like Christopher Lee. I don't know if that was on purpose. I thought it was Saruman the whole time that they were talking to, but I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to it because I also I would play this game. I played the game with sound, but then I would turn off sound because I would just get annoyed in general. But I thought it was a fake Christopher Lee.
Oh,
Gandalf would made more sense.
It's real Christopher Lee. I thought it sounded kind of off, but maybe he was just...
The fuck did they get him to do it?
Yeah. See, that's where all the budget went.
Yeah. They were like, okay, we can get Christopher Lee to narrate and nothing else. Everything else is...
I don't think Son's even in this game.
No, No,
I mean,
I don't think he is.
he's not in the. I mean, he's around in the timeline. Technically, he's around. I don't remember if he's in the movies. Like maybe he's in the end of the third movie or something. I don't remember that because it's been years. So maybe there was something that was going to be with him. But... like he shows up somehow in the movie, so that's why they have him narrating because he's telling the story to somebody or something. It should have been Bilbo since it's Bilbo's story narrating it.
Yeah, I think that would have fit a lot better.
Oh, one of the other things that's new is you can do, at least new to me in any Lego game, is you can team up two different characters together, and then they can attack a wall.
Oh, like the buddy moves?
Yes. I personally didn't like it, but yes, it was a thing.
Yeah. Again, that was another thing that like was kind of neat, but I also feel like was kind of finicky, where sometimes I was just running up to different dwarves, like hitting, like, okay, which one of you will like join up with me? Can this dwarf not buddy up? And then switching and running around. It was just another thing that kind of felt finicky.
Yeah. Also, some of the dwarves don't always even have the weapon that makes them special. Like, there's a guy with, like, a grappling hook item, for lack of a better name, and sometimes he doesn't have it throughout the story because they lose their items at different times, and it's like...
Yeah, that was an annoying thing where you, like, with, like, someone with a bow, if you want to, like, try to get their bow to aim, if they don't have their bow in hand, you can't do that. You have to go and hold triangle, like in the PlayStation, select your bow, and...
Yeah. It takes away something with how often you have to do something. There was something I had to check who had what, because I couldn't remember which dwarf had what equipment, or what dwarf had what equipment at said time.
Yeah, and also, like, I think makes the dwarves feel even kind of lamer when, like, the only thing that makes them... the only thing that makes one of them stand out is he has a bow. And then when he loses his bow, and you have to just find one in the level... all of a sudden, like, I picked it up as Bilbo, and now Bilbo's my archer who's putting, like, that's just...
It takes away something from the game.
Yeah, it makes it all feel a lot flatter.
Yeah. And that that was a simple thing that bothered me. There was just so many things that just didn't feel fun. I did try for Master Burglar, which I got in some of the levels, because it's just in me to break everything in a Lego game and try.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there.
That's the thing I love about the Lego games. They're super easy, like cheat grabber, trophy grabbers. So I used to play them all the time. You get violence on them.
You know, like, I was really excited for this game. Like, I honestly was. I was looking forward to playing this. And that kind of let me down. And let me down in dumb ways, and I already complained enough. I'll save it for a little bit later. But it's the same issue I had. I mean, I guess the story for... this game makes the story all about the Arkenstone. So I guess that's their way, like, oh, we got the Arkenstone, that's why it's complete. But it's really just complete because because the company was greedy. So, not the developer, WB.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went in, like, kind of expecting a lesser Lego Lord of the Rings, and was even still kind of bummed out how much lesser it ended up being.
Yeah, and that bothered me, that they did that. I'm trying to think of some other stuff that they did. I mean, you have the dual attacks, you have a lot of breaking things with axes, which isn't as special as it felt in Lord of the Rings, because you really only had like one dwarf on your team, but now you have lots of dwarves on your team, because that's the whole theme of the movie.
Yeah. There was a bigger dwarf there, and he gets these green pads where you have to use him to bounce on his stomach, but you have to like feed him a bunch of food. You have to give him like corn, like carrots and whatever else.
That was so dumb.
Yeah.
At
the end, he'll roll off the mat and he'll eat the mat after, which was like, okay.
And I liked in the barrels out of bond section where you're in the river, like, they're on the barrels and stuff. There's like one little sequence there where one of them is stuck in a barrel and he like sticks his arm out and he's like dual wielding hatchets, and all of a sudden he has like a completely different combat style where he's spinning around. That was fun. Like, I feel like if they kind of done a little bit more of that and like just made the dwarves a little more eccentric, give them a little more one-off moments to kind of shine like that, I think that could have been cool.
Give the game some more individuality for your characters.
Yeah, make them stand out.
I thought that once you get the elven weapons from the troll cave that they would get some new abilities. They do not.
Yeah, and it's like cool that like each character kind of has special like battle animations and stuff where they fight a little differently from one another because they all have different weapons and stuff. That's kind of cool. I just think that, again, like, it's not like the combat in this game is like all that standout or that fun. But like the guy who has the little like chain hook that you use to pull things, I like playing as because he'll just whip that chain around his head in a big like helicopter arc, and that's just fun to kind of when you have to fight some of the goblins to just start swinging that in the crowd and hitting a bunch of things. Like that's a pretty good, unique ability.
And then if like the other wizard has the ability to heal animals, which was not, I mean, they worked on something different, but it was also the animation took too long to me, and it was just stupid.
Yeah, you do it a lot for as long as that animation.
Yeah, because you got to take a piece off his wand, and I don't know. And there were some things I never even understood. Like there were certain like shadows that I could never go to, and like I know some you burn away the shadow with one of the puzzles, but I was like, is there a character that can do this like later on? Because normally in a Lego game, by the time you beat the game, you have a little bit of everything you unlock. Like you can do everything.
It was like a skeleton orc or something like that. It was just like the first character I bought. He was able to go through into the dark, like shadowy mist areas.
Okay, that I don't like. Even like Lego Star Wars, for example, you had a little bit of everything by the time you finish either of them. Like, and especially Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga. Like you get enough. Throughout the game, you will have all the characters that do everything, just from storyline wise, because every character is introduced, every type of character. And for me, it didn't have that. But also, I forgot what dwarves could do what. Like, you talked about the fat dwarf that you feed him. I mean, it was nice because at least he was unique. He had a unique thing, but I really don't care for the unique thing being fill up the guy, and then, yeah, that didn't really do it for me.
Yeah.
And I guess the final boss fight of this game, or what technically is the whole game, is where you do fight Smaug and throw, like, the Molotov cocktails on him, I guess is the end.
Yeah, that's kind of like the last big moment.
I think this game only had 2 boss fights, Smaug, and then you had the Troll King, which felt a little long. Or not Troll King, but Goblin King.
Yeah, I think like there's some parts, I guess, where you fight like some of the Azog.
Oh, Necromancer. Yeah, fuck, I forgot about Azog. Both, yeah, you're right. But Azog is so pointless, because like you fight him, I don't know, it doesn't work since he doesn't have an ending.
Yeah. And his fight is just so basically like you're just mashing attack until the quick time events start.
Yeah, I didn't care for the stuff with Azog. I don't like how they made him such a big part of the trilogy. I remember that much. I thought it was dumb. That this special or goblin. He's a goblin. Yeah, they're not orcs. I didn't like it. I didn't like it in the movie. I didn't like it now. I liked it less now because there was no ending to it. But yeah, I'm watching a speedrun of it, and like you're right. Like the whole thing with the golden Smaug, like they should have just ended it there since there was nothing else.
Yeah, at least it like is an ending. You can at least say like it caps the game off. Having the teaser just feels dumb.
But I mean, I wonder how much third game or the third movie was already created by the time this game released.
Yeah, I know it was like one of those things they had already, I think, said they were going to release it as DLC, and then later the DLC got canceled. So I assume they had already been working on that stuff before the game even shipped. And it's not like they had known that they were gonna probably not get a chance to actually finish this. I don't really hold it against the devs too much there. I don't hold it against Telltale at all. Yeah. It wasn't there. I 100% don't believe it was any of their fault. Mm-hmm.
It was because apparently after it got canceled, then they were going to put it into the Lego Dimensions game as a level. Mm-hmm. And then they just scrapped it all together.
Forgot about that Lego Dimensions thing. I wonder if that's also, on top of some other stuff, part of why this game feels very cut around the corners. They were getting ready to launch a huge, big, like, new platform thing.
That's what I'm thinking.
When did Lego Dimensions even come out? Let's Google. I never got into Lego Dimensions because it never got cheap.
It was like 2015, I think, maybe.
You are correct, 2015, yeah. So that's why it got canceled the first time, was because they wanted to advertise their new thing because they thought they'd get more money out of it.
Good job with that, Christopher Lloyd.
But it just upsets me because you don't have the Battle for Five Armies. It just really messes up this game. Oh yeah, it was reported in January of 2014, months before this game came out, that there was going to be DLC.
So then it was like well known then.
Oh yeah, I mean it was. Yeah, so it was already being worked on by then. So they were just waiting. Probably they just couldn't release it till after the movie was done. And my guess is that the people in charge were like, no, we can make more money if we just put it in the Lego Dimension, make people buy toys. And then somebody went, nah, we're not going to do anything. I mean, these movies made money, so there was there was a want, But I guess DLC just maybe wasn't enough for them, and maybe the game didn't sell well enough for them to care enough to do it.
Yeah.
Either way, it just upsets me.
It is unfortunate. Like, overall, like I had said it earlier, I still, like, even with the third movie, this would not be a great game. It's still pretty deep problems all throughout it, but without that third game, it just ends up making it, like, pretty disposable. It doesn't really feel like a thing that, like, like you said, it's not going to be a companion piece to the wider Hobbit stuff. It just ends up being kind of this, like, kind of not great game.
Because it doesn't have the complete story, and that's what hurts. It just sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel so bad that I can't get past that. But when your game is based on a trilogy of movies, or at least just a well-known novel, even if there was no novel, the book wouldn't end. Oh, the dragon flew off to go murder people and come back, maybe murder us. But that's the end of the story, folks. Goodbye. Like, what? That's how you end the story. And that's the problem, because you know they had wanted more, and Warner Brothers said no, and it just sucks. Like April 2014, I mean, it's only a few more months before the last movie comes out, December 2014. So 6 months. I mean, you release the DLC when the movie comes out. Like, there would have been anticipation for it. There would have been people that bought it, but I guarantee they're like, we can make toys and make more money, because Lego Dimensions was expensive from what I remember too.
Oh yeah.
I never bought any of them, but I remember them.
Harder than that. I got a whole case full of those things.
They're worth money.
A Powerpuff box still.
I bought all the Disney Infinity toys. I have the entire set for Star Wars and Marvel. I don't have the first set, but I bought all those. But majority of those are all bought for dirt cheap. I unfortunately never got into Spyro, which I thought those would get cheap. Those never got cheap. Those are still.
I see them all the time at Valley Village out here. There's like bags of them all the time.
Okay, I don't look in thrift stores. But also, there's so many different ones, I don't know what's what, so I just don't care, kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah, anything else to say about this game?
Not honestly. Like, it's not completely terrible. It's got highlights to it for sure. I think it's still charming. It feels a lot more cut down from what they did with Lego Lord of the Rings, which was pretty impressive as far as Lego games go, especially for the time with introducing open world and all that. I just think it doesn't do a good job representing Middle-earth. I don't think it does a particularly good job as a video game, and I think it just is kind of disappointing after how good Lord of the Rings was to not have an equally good game for The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Same. It's just disheartening, because
it's like this new Batman that's coming out, what they're going to do with that thing, because I guess it's going to have like the 89 and Batman Returns and all that levels.
Yeah.
I have wondered too, though, if they'll revisit Middle-earth. They just put a couple years ago, they put out that, I forget the subtitle, Skywalker Saga or whatever. There was this huge, everything Star Wars in a game, and it was 1 billion things to collect and stuff like that. To where I think I heard people saying, like, they actually kind of need to chill out. It's a bit much. And now they're putting out this Batman game that kind of seems like the Batman game. Like, they've just got Arkham stuff in there, stuff from the new movies, stuff from what seems to be like the Dark Knight stuff, from what I understand. Like, they're kind of seeming to try and do like the ultimate Lego Batman game. I wonder if they'll eventually make their way around to try and make like the ultimate Middle-earth Lego game.
I'd be in. If they ever did it, I'd be in 100%. Because I do like Lego games. Lego Batman is a good... I've never played 3. I played 1 and 2. I really want to actually replay them. And I never did this DC Supervillains, but I'm excited for the new Lego Batman game. I'll get to it someday.
It was a little different because you had worlds you could travel to. It was a different one.
I own just about all the Lego games, I think. But I've never gotten around to playing most of them.
You need to figure in that game too. I forget.
But yeah, no, I am excited to see what they do. All right, let's go to questions, comments, and memories. I have a couple. I didn't get them, but a few people had stuff to say. So let's see what people had to say about this game. I think I posted in 3 groups. So let's see. First, I watched the entire Orblood Super replay from Curtis G. Thoroughly enjoyed it, but yeah, it sucks. It's only 2 of the movies. From Walter Edie. I never played this one, but the Lord of the Rings one is one of the best Lego games and Lord of the Rings games. Yeah, not this one. From the official Laser Time community, from Andy Ryan, the Battle of the 5 Armies episode was originally planned as DLC, but was eventually folded into the Erebor/Dale area of the canceled Lego Dimensions 2. What the fuck? Lego Dimensions 2, we never even really got one that long, so what the hell? And from the Lord of the Rings fan club, I got one comment from Darren Lee Crosley. Love this. Okay, you play it. So that's all I got. Not a lot of people had stuff to say. Yeah, it's kind of one of those.
It's not a super inspiring game. It's pretty,
forgettable.
Yeah.
I do have a code to give away, so I have a Steam code. Let's see here. The next code, okay, is Rogue Heroes Ruins of Tassos, which is a multiplayer roguelike game, actually. So it's not bad. I played a little bit once. The code is 7Q3GB XTKA2 4A0K9. That is your Steam code for Rogue Heroes Ruins of Tassos. Next one I have is much better next week, so we'll listen next week. And who is the wizard joining me that wasn't late, but arrived exactly when he meant to?
Oh, that would be Isiah. Yeah, I won't say definitely late, but definitely when I mean to.
So, I mean, unfortunately, you couldn't make the main recording, but I definitely wanted to hear what you had to say about Lego The Hobbit, because we had unnice things to say about this game.
Oh, I believe it. I've got a lot of unnice things, but I do have some nice things to say, too. Much like Lego, we'll start off with the nice. Much like Lego Lord of the Rings, they used a lot of the original voice lines for the main characters, which was obviously top notch. That's what I like to see. Because I remember when Lego games first came out with like Lego Star Wars, it was just grunts and vocalizations. But actually having dialogue in a Lego game just adds that much more to the enrichment. Obviously, the sound quality phenomenal, but that's really all the good I can say about it, because now we get to the bad. You got glitches, you got bugs that just never got patched out. The game was rushed. And you based it off of a property that had controversy to start. Because remember when they first brought The Hobbit to theaters, how they changed a lot of Tolkien's elements in there. Case in point, the Goblin Town escape theme park ride, essentially.
It's been a while.
It was unnecessary. Or the mountains fighting, unnecessary. And so this game falters because of that, because the source material is already controversial. I do like that they expanded on the crafting system that they brought out from Lego Lord of the Rings. That was great, even though the little mini game was just matching the silhouettes up.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about the mini game, so I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. I mean, that was a nice touch. You did something great in Lego Lord of the Rings by bringing in the Mithril brick crafting system, and then they just kind of expanded on it, which was nice that they did the expansion on it, but it still falls into the Lego tediousness of having go and farm these items, and you're not getting everything you need on one run.
I personally didn't like any of it with the crafting, but it was unique.
It was unique, exactly. It was unique and such. I also feel like we got shafted because we only got the first two movies.
Oh god, that was my main complaint. It's just like
disdain, as much disdain as I have for the fact that they based it off of a property that's already controversial. We didn't even get the full thing.
That's what broke me. And they didn't even try to work it in. Like we talked about the main episode, but like Smaug runs away and at the end of the game, it's like that doesn't work. It doesn't even wrap up the story.
It doesn't. It leaves you on a cliffhanger, which is what the second movie did.
Yes.
And there was talks about them making the third movie a DLC. Well, where's my goddamn DLC, Bruce?
WB couldn't afford it.
And that's, again, that a lot of that has to do with the fact that they, were shelling out money to get The Hobbit made. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe they overpromised and underdelivered on that. The same thing with the Hobbit game. They were expecting to get all this money from a beloved franchise. Well, when you make it something that most of the hardcore fans of that franchise had issues with, you're going to turn down a lot of people. So, it's one of those games that just, it fell flat on its face before it even got released in stores because of that.
Like, I was excited. When we did Lord of the Rings, I was excited to play this, and this was a big letdown for me.
It really was. And, and don't get me started on the fact that the dwarves are barely indistinguishable from each other.
We said the same thing.
It's like if I'm going if I'm handed a key ring and said I got to go through this locked door and all the keys look the same.
Yes, bad.
It's really bad. Like, at least with Lego Lord of the Rings, you knew that if you needed an archer who you go to, if you needed a small person to go through a thing, you know who you needed to go to. You don't get that in this. You have a hobbit and 13 dwarves, most of which you got 4 or 5 that are playable at any given point.
Yeah, it just doesn't work as well. And
It doesn't.
I mean, maybe it's
and they
partly
have that one unique ability. But finding the one that has the ability, that's the frustrating part.
Sometimes it changes, because at a certain point they don't have some of the equipment that they had in other times. So that also happened a few times.
Yeah. I mean, I do love the slap. I do love that they did keep a lot of the slapstick stuff in there. Like the orcs and boxers.
Yeah, they keep the Lego stuff.
Right, they keep it lighthearted, which is great. And so it's one of those games that, at the end of the day, like, am I mad that I bought it? No. Would I be happier if I bought it cheaper? Yeah.
I don't think I paid much. I mean, I was just mad that they sold an unfinished thing, and I can't get past that. It just
exactly like let me put it this way. At least with Cyberpunk 2077, it had bugs and stuff in it when it first launched, but I got a complete game.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't even a complete game, and the fact that they canceled the DLC, they canceled it twice. First, they canceled it, and then they said, oh, we're going to put it in Lego Dimensions Season 2 to make more money that way. And then they just canceled it altogether. It's like, guys, just release the fucking thing. Like, you made this game that is based on a trilogy, wrap up the trilogy, sell it for $15 or $20, and be done. Not be like, no, we're just going to not do it.
It'd be like if Empire Strikes Back ended right after Han Solo was frozen in carbonite.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're done. We ran out of money.
Yeah.
But this is even worse because the third product came out. Like the movie, the trilogy happened. They just, and it was coming. They knew it was coming. They were just like, nah, we're too cheap.
Right. Delay for 6 months because you already have the framework started. Delay for 6 months, rush it through. And then maybe add 2-3 months on top of it for some quality control.
Like it wouldn't need to be that long, because I feel like Battle of the Five Armies, you couldn't have had that many levels with that movie, I'm assuming. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
That's fair, yeah, you could have tried. I mean, but to be fair, The Hobbit didn't need to be 3 movies either.
Oh god, no. The Hobbit, hell, the animation Hobbit is a better telling of the story than this fucking game, so...
It really is. Like, there were so many things. Movie. Yeah, like, if you wanted to, I could see splitting it into 2 movies, and you have a solid ending point, like the arrival at Beor, for the first movie, and then the rest of it picks up from there. Because you get your nice little climax getting out of Goblin Town, getting to and through Mirkwood, getting to Beorn's, and then it picks up. You get your climax at the Battle of the Five Armies, and then it all just kind of comes down from there, and you get a nice closure point on both movies. You save some money, you don't piss a lot of people off, and now your game sells better.
Yeah, it did not need to be 3. It did not need to be 3 movies. I haven't seen it since they came out, though. I've been meaning to rewatch them at some point, but I've just never gotten around to it yet.
Yeah, it's one of those things I need to rewatch at some point. I think what I'm going to do is, if I had to be subjected to the horror of the fact that it's 3 movies, my son needs to be subjected to the fact, and it's about time for him to start reading The Hobbit, so he gets to understand Daddy's pain.
Such a good
It was my first full-length novel that I ever read.
Really good novel.
And so that's why I was excited when they said, okay, Peter Jackson is doing The Hobbit. I'm like, oh shit, here we fucking go. And then he gave us the slop. So, because it was a giant cash grab.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I had a lot of problems. I mean, just in general with this game, it just wasn't, it was missing that flavor.
It was missing a lot of flavor. On its face as a Lego game, if you can look past the bugs and glitches, it's a very playable game. But the story is where it falls flat.
So we couldn't remember this when we were talking. Is Saruman in the Hobbit series at all?
No, he is not. And that was another thing. Because they wanted him to. He does have an appearance at the Council of Dol Guldur in the movies, but you don't see that in the books. They put that in the movies to explain where Gandalf was disappearing to. It's actually well-established Tolkien lore that is what Gandalf was dealing with at that time. They didn't need to put it in the movies, though.
No, but I couldn't remember if it was in the movies or not because it's been so long. So that makes sense, partly then why he's here, but he didn't need to be.
He didn't need to be the narrator at all.
No, it should have been Bilbo.
It could have been Bilbo. You could have made the case for Beorn being the narrator. because he encounters them halfway on their quest, and then he encounters them again at the Battle of the Five Armies.
That's a shapeshifter,
Like,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Like, there was a case could have been made for that. A case could have been Bard narrating it about how Lake Town got freed from Smog.
That would have been better.
It could have been Dane Ironfoot narrating it about how they reclaimed the Lonely Mountain.
Saruman just
like
made no sense to me, and
it made no sense.
It's actually Christopher Lee. They got him to record.
I know they did. I know they did.
That's just weird to me.
And then another thing that pissed me off about the movies, Radagast is not mentioned in the books once. How the hell did we get Radagast in The Hobbit, but we couldn't get Tom Bombadil in The Lord of the Rings?
The Radagast is just in the Silmarillion, right? Then.
Yeah, it's explained when they're talking about the 5 wizards making their way to Middle Earth.
Okay, because I knew of him, and I've read some of the Silmarillion once, but that was a long time ago.
Well, you get points for the attempt.
Yeah, so, I was really into it, but I was like, this is boring, and I just didn't finish.
He was not needed. He was not needed in the movie. Like, he really didn't do anything to advance the plot. Like, you take away Radagast and the Dol Guldur stuff, I can give part of the Disney park theme ride. Like, I'm never going to fully forgive it, but, I can forgive the theme park ride. I can forgive the mountains battling, because that was a narrative choice to show that there was unease in the air and all that stuff when they were traveling to Goblin Town. It was a cool scene, but it didn't fit it didn't fit the what I remember reading as a child.
Yeah, it didn't need to be there.
It really did. And then another main point of contention, about the movies, the dwarf elf, love scene. Like, just if I could strangle a movie for its own incompetence, that would be the movie I strangle.
I mean, you only get it. It's not even in this game, really. Like, there's a little reference to it, but I think most of it. It's in the third movie, right? Most of it.
No, it starts off in the second movie.
Okay. God, I should rewatch these someday. I'm only going to when I record about doing it until then. So.
They kind of hint at it at the first one when they're escaping from Mirkwood.
God, that's in the first movie?
Yeah.
I can't even remember when the second movie starts anymore. It's been a very long time.
It's been so long, but it didn't need to happen. No, it didn't happen in the books. It didn't need to happen in the movies. Like, and that, like, I know it's not in the game. It's kind of alluded to in the game, but it's one of those things that it didn't need to happen.
I mean, there is a scene of something in the game. I can't remember exactly, but there is like some little hearts or something that kind of they reflect.
Yeah, I said, it was kind of alluded to. It wasn't long and drawn out. So I'm like, okay, I'll forgive it because it was in the movie, even though it shouldn't have been. Like, it's, if you're gonna do, like, I understand the liberties that they took with Lord of the Rings, like the movies themselves, because it made sense narrative. They didn't really add anything into the movies, but they did change some things around, like when Aragorn receives Andúril. In the books, he receives it before leaving Rivendell to go on the journey. When in the movies, he receives it at a time that made sense to the plot. Saruman dying at the top of Orthanc didn't happen in the books. Saruman actually dies in the Shire during the sacking of the Shire. Well, if you're not going to have the sacking of the Shire, you still have to have Saruman die somehow, and that made sense.
Yeah, I didn't bother me.
Right. That didn't bother me. You still had the same conclusion of these characters. But to go and add that much stuff so that way you can draw it out into 3 movies so you can get your extra $20 per person per ticket, like...
That's what it was.
Yeah, exactly. It was a cash grab. It was a cash grab that didn't need to happen. So, and in the words of Forrest Gump, that's all I have to say about that.
All right. And then shelf stacker box. Where would you rank?
Box. Bottom of the box. I'm not digging it out anytime soon. Like, my son and I will play it once just so he can understand the horrors. But, I think this is the first game I've ever reviewed for you that it goes in the box, and it's deserved its place at the bottom of the box, buried.
Oh, it does. I won't argue on that one at all. So, yeah.
Like, it's just such, like I said, at its face as a Lego game, solid, assuming you can look past the bugs and glitches. As a Hobbit game, though, no.
No, it's bad.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for joining me, Isiah, and listen to the rest of our Shelf Stacker box. And, Casey, why don't you lead us in?
I'm sorry, can you remind me the distinction?
No, it's all right. It's been a bit. Something you love, stack being something you enjoyed in the middle, and box being disliked or lower rating.
That's what I figured. I'll box it. Not that that's like a shocking score, I'm sure. But no, as soon as I finished this game and saw what the ending was, I'm going to be honest, I just quit out and deleted it off the hard drive. It was like, that's my time with that. I'm done. I don't really see myself going back to it. If I want Lego Middle-earth, I'll play Lego Lord of the Rings. It's not completely awful, just I don't see a reason to go back to it.
There isn't one. I'll go next. I'm going to put this in the box also. I just didn't really have a good time. I wanted to, but the game just wasn't there, and the fact that the game is unfinished, I can't get past that. I didn't get a complete story, and I wanted to feel complete, and I didn't. And the fact that because agreed just irritates me, so that's also another reason it's going in the box. Because had an ending, had the third movie, I think I might have been a little bit different. So, and Rob,
I'll put this on the stack because can't really put it on the shelf, but still like to have the stack there of the Lego games all together. So just to have that tucked in, just to grab anytime.
Wrong. We enjoyed it. You didn't hate it like we did, so that's not a bad thing.
It's still,
Well,
if you like the collection of Lego games, it's still got all that stuff, and
Yeah, in the end, it's still a Lego game, so it has, not the greatest gameplay, but you can just sit there and not worry about anything, just mindlessly play.
Which is fair. Yeah. I choose to be angry.
Yeah.
It's my choice. I want to introduce what we're going to be talking about next week. Next week, you can hear us talk about a game I'm sure you've been expecting to be on this show. Devil May Cry, the first one. All right. And then go to plugs. Rob, where can people find you at?
Find me on Windsor Ghostbusters on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And if you enjoyed this episode, you can hear the rest of our Lord of the Rings content. We actually have a decent amount now. I did almost all the animated movies except for the good one, so you can listen to that and you'll see a link in the show notes. If you want to support the show, do a Patreon. Little dog vote in our Patreon poll. We have 1 to 2 polls a month, so a great way to support the show. Currently 2 polls for this month. Well, you're hearing this February, so 2 polls in February. And if you donate $10 or more, I will plug your podcast or YouTube every episode I create, like these lovely people. Phoebe Stanton, the Let's Play Princess on YouTube and Twitch, and check out her podcast, Nerds of Broadcast. And check out absolutely the best podcast of Work in Progress. With Zach, they talk about the MCU movies, and they are currently doing the Predator Alien franchise. So check them out. And also, make sure you check out Bill Tucker Looks at 40, and he started his new podcast, Carrying My Cross, a religious podcast, but definitely worth checking out. And we just out to my awesome intro and outro crew, Helena at Hell Hasher. You can follow her on TikTok and Instagram. And please, join our Discord. We always have new people join the Discord. And please follow us on Facebook, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, and rate and review our good podcast. I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.